high-waisted bikinis or one pieces.
Sono Bello targeted the areas on my body that the gym died.
I heard a brown-skinned guy today say that he was in the wrong because he had a suspended driver's license, and that's the reason why he didn't want to show the cop his ID.
That doesn't matter. Nobody is saying that the boy shouldn't have went to jail. That does not matter. You cannot excuse that kind of behavior because that behavior is the actual problem. Yes, the boy was going to go to jail any fucking way. And that part, if he broke a law, he broke a law. If he's going to go to jail, then he's going to go to jail. But what they did was unnecessary. They started punching that boy and everything else. And that is wrong. He asked for a supervisor, and they should have provided that. And 9 times out of 10, the supervisor was going to tell that boy he was wrong. Maybe in a calmer, more professional manner, but he still would have more than likely. Because if this boy actually did break a law, and if that is the truth and that is the case, then the supervisor would have told that boy he was wrong. He asked for a supervisor several times, and they ignored him. And when he asked them what the initial charge was, they wouldn't tell him what the initial charge was because there wasn't one. Because if his headlight was out, at most, that's a ticket. But they wanted some shit to happen. They didn't say that, his driver's license was expired. So that had nothing to do with this incident, and that had nothing to do with the stop. The stop was allegedly because his headlight was out. And if that is the case, they could have issued him a ticket and all of this would have been avoided.
Mm-hmm. I even heard him say in the video, why don't you pull that person over right there?
There's nothing that he could have done that would have made it go any different because they had already made up their minds exactly how it was going to go, which is why he ended up getting brutalized the way they did. Nigga even was like, are you good, bro? Is that you or that's him? Oh, that's him? All right.
Do you want to hear what the police chief had to say?
Sure. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it's interesting. I would say the thing that you got to remember is that it's a job and he is doing his job. That's the bad part in working in that industry, especially with what his position is. He's doing his job and he's not even protecting the officers. He's protecting business. You see what I'm saying? Because the actions of the officers, that is a liability to the company. Owning up to it and copping to it and saying like, yep, we totally dropped the ball and this was a big fuck up on our end, without having that authorized by someone higher up the chain for you to like just go ahead and admit it, that could be dangerous territory. And that could also be either him saying I'm stepping down and I quit, or you getting fired. But either way, like, you gotta tread carefully because that could be the end of the road for your career here. So keep that in mind, or I'm keeping that in mind. However, at the same time, you sound fucking ridiculous, bro. And I get it. Like, you're doing your best to try to seem like you are in control and like everything that you did was by the book, even though you can acknowledge that the boy was violated, which is the entirety of the issue. And that's exactly what the people are saying, is that there's a lot of foul play here. And in a way, you've admitted to that. However, you just keep trying to create excuses and you want to operate under the guise that you guys did what had to be done. Because that's essentially what he said. Essentially what he said was, I mean, I'm not going to say it's right, but they did what they had to do. To paraphrase and sum it all up, that's what he said. I'm not saying it's right for anybody to be violated. Nobody deserves that. But officers have to do what is necessary to remand somebody into custody.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is bullshit. The boy was clearly again, what is the initial charge? There's no initial charge. The initial action is I'm gonna give you a ticket because this is a traffic violation. So for a traffic violation, the boy was supposed to get a ticket. How is he resisting arrest? Because let's go back to why was he under arrest? The boy was right when he said you have to have a lawful reason to arrest me because, bro, you do. At no point was the boy under arrest until you decided, I don't like the fact that he closed the door and locked it. Once he closed the door and locked it, that's when you decided to start saying you're resisting arrest, because that was the officer's way of trying to save his ass in real time. The officer decided that he was going to save his ass in real time by just reciting over and over repetitively, you're resisting arrest. But at no point did you tell that boy that he was under arrest. The only thing that you said was, he said, why'd you stop me? You said because his headlight was out. That's not grounds for an arrest. That's grounds for a traffic violation. Write the fucking ticket, bro. Write the ticket. Then you jump from telling him the traffic violation that he is guilty of to then telling him, this is a timeline of events. You tell him that he's violated a traffic law. Mm-hmm. So he has a traffic violation. Then you go directly to your resisting arrest. You didn't Mirandize him. You didn't tell him he was under arrest. You don't have a reason. When he asked you for a specific reason of why he was being arrested, you simply responded with your resisting arrest. That's not an answer to my question. Why am I being arrested? In order for me to resist arrest, I must first be under arrest. Correct? Mm-hmm. Correct. Okay. So what are you arresting me for? You're not arresting me for resisting arrest because that makes no fucking sense. Resisting arrest is a secondary action. Resisting arrest is a response to being arrested. Mm-hmm. So what are you arresting me for? You can't tell me because you don't have a lawful reason to arrest me. You do, however, have a lawful reason to issue me a traffic violation. And that's what I'm saying. In this situation, what we saw in this scenario is, and see, I also feel bad that he has locks because they were pulling that boy by the hair. Mm. Everything with this was wrong. And it's very clear. And the officer, the police chief, was saying, don't tell the public what they saw.
You can't speak for the public. Yeah, I'm not speaking for the public.
He did kind of speak for the public because he said what we all saw. Which is true because we all fucking saw it. Anybody who saw the video sees exactly what happened because it was unnecessary. And you yourself admitted that it was unnecessary. Mm-hmm. The only difference is you're making an excuse for it. Yeah. You're saying it might have been wrong, but we had to do what we had to do. It is what it is. That's what you said. Mm-hmm. So based on what you said, your words, it was wrong. That's what we're saying. So at the very least, that much we have in common. We can all agree that the actions of the officer as far as the physical violence against this man was wrong. We saying it, you said it, we agree. That there lies the problem, brother. We may not be able to agree on anything else based on how you want to try to spin this shit and you want to talk in circles and then you want to try to bulldoze these reporters when they're asking you valid questions. Brother, y'all wrong. Y'all wrong. And here's the beautiful thing about it. He's black. That's the beautiful thing about it. Because even in TV series, fictional TV series, even if it is based off of real events, but in these TV series, they do the same thing. Law and Order do that shit all the time. If the people that they going after are Asian, Chinese, Japanese, they're going to find a person that looks Asian and they're going to use that person. That person is going to be one of the main officers on the case. This person is not a main cast member. This person is just pertinent to this specific situation and this specific case because of who we're going after. Right or wrong, I need you. Because this is going to be my ticket out of a racial claim. In order for this to not be spun as a racial profiling or racial discrimination, I need you. You have to be in front of this. Because when it all comes down and it all media, whoever gets involved, anybody, reporters got questions, anybody, we need you. So the beautiful thing about all this is that he's black. That's the beautiful thing. We need your black ass to get up here and try to save face the best you fucking can. We need you. This is your job. This is why you here. You think that we gave you this position because we just truly thought you were the best person? You are here for this reason. So when we find ourselves in positions like this, we can call you. You the guy. You the guy that we push out there in front of everybody else. You the guy. This is exactly what the fuck your job is. This is what you do. So that's why, in part, I don't blame you. Because I get what it is to be in a situation where you know some shit is fucked up. You know some shit ain't right. But you also understand that your job is not to admit fault. Your job is not to own up to any liability. So on one hand, you understand that somebody is just doing a job and they're doing the best they can to like try to maintain their career here. On the other hand, on the humane side, you're like, come on, bruv. I say it's a way to do your job. It's a way to do your job. And unfortunately, the way that most people will handle this is the best way to go about it. We are currently investigating the situation. We all saw the video, so we all have certain things that cause a certain level of concern. We are doing everything that we can to adequately address the situation. You got to learn how to speak to people, because that would have been better than what you said. And then again, in a world where I can use your words against you, you're actually fucking up. So I get that you're trying to do your job, but you're not actually good at speaking. You're not actually good. So again, why are you the guy in the situation? Why are you there? Why do they have you addressing? I wouldn't have you addressing shit because you don't know how. Nobody trained you. Nobody taught you. You don't know how. You don't know how to get the gab. You wasn't blessed with the finesse. So why are you? You are there because we need your black ass to be there. And you might have been one of the more qualified blacks at the time. But the only reason that this is strategic is for a reason. Because obviously you don't even know how to really get in front of this shit. We just thought that, you being black was enough. Sorry. We just thought that, you would be the guy. In a situation like this, you were the guy that we would, need in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's clearly fucked up. So I'm glad that he does have civil rights lawyers that are willing to act on his behalf and willing to represent him, because that's exactly what he needs. He needs people that are willing to get in front of this and call him out. And the good thing is the police chief gave that statement.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful thing. Like, what is happening? Actually, this could be $1 million deal. No. Dead ass. Because you did a terrible job of getting in front of this. You are not a spokesperson for situations such as this. Something so public, something so sensitive, something so obvious. You're not the right guy to be speaking to these people. You're not. I'm so sorry, my brother. You're not. It's very disheartening, because what I've come to realize is, like, growing up in my family, it bothered me how much my family made it a point to tell me that I'm black and I can't do the things that white girls do. I can't do the shit that white people do, period. And that people are always going to treat me like a black ass nigger. And that's how my grandma, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just a Negro. And what you got to understand is, no matter what you do, no matter what you accomplish, no matter what you do, your black ass will always be treated like a black ass motherfucker, and you can't forget that. Don't forget that. Because the moment that you forget that, you will be humbled and you will be reminded that you still a nigga. I hated that. Because growing up with a white stepfather who tried his best to tell me not to do that to people and not to see the world that way. So I'm growing up with two different You know what I'm saying? On one hand, I'm having somebody tell me, bro, don't look at people's skin color and don't even do that. Don't do the white, the black, the Mexican, the this, the that. Don't do that. Don't do the rich, the poor, the this, the that, the have to have. Don't do that. Don't do the cool kids, the lame kids, the that. Talk to everybody, bro. Don't separate yourself and try to like cut certain people off or treat certain people differently because you feel like they different than you. Never treat anybody like they're beneath you. I don't give a fuck what the premise is. Don't do it. And on the other hand, you a nigga and you always gonna be a nigga. Don't ever forget that shit, bro. Because the moment that you forget that shit, somebody is going to come and remind you. I did not want to see it. I did not, because I felt like that was an aged, backwards ass thing. And in a way, I was right. Because I mean, it is true. You can't walk around life with that chip on your shoulder. However, it is true. You do have to keep it in mind. Mm-hmm. Because you will be reminded. And you are going to have people who constantly test you and who constantly push that line. Unfortunately, that's what it is. Unfortunately, what you have to remember, and it's hard with shit like this, but I mean in life in general. Because even in my personal life, I've dealt with it so many fucking times. And so going through what we now call microaggressions on a regular basis, in this situation, that situation, whether it's in your personal life, your professional life, whatever the fuck, you're dealing with these microaggressions and this stuff like this happens. It does trigger you emotionally because you know what that feels like. And you can only imagine if that was you. You can only imagine. And it's not that fucking hard to imagine, bruv, which is why it hurts so much. It hurts so much because that could be anybody. That right now, it's Mr. Williams. But it could be anybody. And that's what scares the fuck out of people, is just knowing that that could have been me. Because again, there is nothing that he could have done that was going to make the situation any different. That was a simple traffic stop. That's what it was. Let's be for real. That's what the fuck it was. That's what they said it was. Why did you stop me? I stopped you because one of your headlights is out. Potato, whatever the fuck. Okay, where's my ticket? Write me a ticket and let's be done with this shit. Do your job and hey, I'm gonna take the ticket. I might not sign that bitch, but I'll take it. Do your job, whatever. I don't have to sign it, but give me the ticket. Do your job, write it up, give me the ticket. Nobody budged, bro. Nobody moved. They could have, as many people were on the scene, as many responding officers as there were at that time, at least one of them could have been in the car writing the fucking ticket as they were addressing him. By the time that you open your door and you asking me what this is about, we handed you the ticket. Because the whole time we were sitting here talking to you, chatting it up, homie was in the car writing the fucking ticket the whole time. He was doing the paperwork. Here's your copy of your ticket. Are you going to sign it? No? Cool. You still got to show up in court though. That's on you. Sign it, don't sign it. You still got to go to court. And if you don't, that's between you and the law. At that point, I'm going to do my job and I'm going to write it up. If I really feel like I got to do this shit and I got to go there and I got to do my job, I'm going to do my job and I'm going to go there and I'm going to do this shit, but I'm going to leave it alone as a traffic stop. You break the law, you break the law, you get a ticket, you get a ticket. If there was a ground for an arrest, then you would be arrested. There was no ground for arrest in the situation. So again, it is very clear. So the officer was right. And again, I'm going to use your words against you. That's what the fuck you said. It's very clear. Yes, sir, it is very clear. We all saw the video. Yes, sir, we have seen the video. That is correct. I am not going to justify what the actions of the officers administratively. We are not going to justify it either. You're correct. No one deserves to be violated. No one deserves to be violated. Absolutely correct. I feel the exact same way. You said it. I agree. He did a terrible job, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful irony. I could be mad, but I really can't. I really can't be mad. Does it hurt? It does hurt. It hurt when I saw it the first time. It hurt because it was clear the first time I saw it. The boy didn't do shit. He said he didn't do shit, but this time it was true. He didn't do shit. One of the reporters just pointed out, hey, they lied in the police report. And he couldn't say anything. He didn't have an excuse for it. Well, no one can assume anything. Right. You said it. You couldn't see his hands. And you also said that it's not right to assume anything. I can agree with that. It's not right to assume anything. Okay. Why the fuck did they say that on the police report? So again, here we are. We find ourselves in agreement. Once again, we agree. We agree. Don't assume. Don't assume. Don't make shit up. We agree. We on the same page here, my brother. They should have had somebody else. Pick somebody else to come and speak because he not helping y'all's case. He helping Mr. Williams' case. Not yours. So I can't be mad at what the police chief said. I can't be mad at all. You did that, brother. If you ask me, shit, I'm happy with it. I don't got a fucking problem with what you said. It's some fucked up shit that you tried to do, twisting and turning, but at the same time, that's your job. That's what you were supposed to do. Hopefully you were strategic and hopefully you did it on purpose and hopefully you are smarter than you look. Hopefully you want to see justice for this young man, but you can't say that because it's a job. But you're going to still find a way to help this young man out. Hopefully that's what you were doing. Hopefully you just did enough bowing and curtsying to keep your job. But at the same time, you threw him an anchor. You threw him a lifeline. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that's what happened. But if not, boy, they should choose you every time. Either way it goes, they should choose you every time. Every time. Hope you stick around. Don't quit. Don't leave. Stay right there. We need you. Either way it goes. Either way it goes. Because you fucking not good at this. If you didn't do it on purpose. But it's hard because as someone with 3 children, 2 boys specifically, with kids that act a lot like me, Lord. My son wouldn't be wrong. But he would be in danger. But he wouldn't be wrong. But it is very, very dangerous. It's not always important to be right. And I know that fucking sucks when you know that you know. But it's not always a point to be right. Because that shit, you gotta learn to take the emotion out of it. And I'm struggling with that because some cases go viral, some don't. Some people's names are known, some people are not. Some people, they immediately just become hashtags. Like you hear about it, but they don't get to live to speak about it. So fortunately for this young man, he survived. They stopped. They didn't continue to beat his ass. They stopped. They didn't stop till they saw blood, but they stopped. That shit is scary. That shit is scary. But if I react because someone called me a nigger and I beat the fuck out of them, I'm sensitive because it was just words. Why would you have no right to attack someone simply because they said something you don't like? Like the way they were talking to Sister Sage in that show. Uppity, one of the good ones. And the way they were talking to A-Train, oh, my granddaddy would have caught you. We would have caught you. Mm-hmm. But if I beat your ass right, if I kill you right now, I'll be wrong because I would just be sensitive and I wouldn't be in control of myself. It would be ridiculous. It would be maddening if I allowed you to get that kind of response from me. What the fuck else am I supposed to do? You're clearly a dangerous individual, and if given the opportunity to hurt somebody who looks like me, you would do it. You obviously don't value me or people who look like me. So even if you don't touch me and I get to walk away, that doesn't mean that the next person will be so lucky. So if I beat your ass right now, I know, I get it. Because I'm sensitive. That's what it is. I lack self-control. But in these situations, his driver's license was expired. That ain't had shit to do with it.
That's not what they gonna charge him with. They gonna charge him with the marijuana that they found after they pulled him out the car. Or
Okay,
the
but that's an
knife,
unlawful search. You didn't have grounds for that.
or the knife that they found on the floor after.
You didn't have grounds for that. So that's an unlawful search once again. So again, we got to go back to the very beginning, my dude. Because that's how we get them off. We just follow the facts. We leave the emotional aspect out of the situation, unless it comes to the media and we want to utilize that to get public support. Then we can lean a little bit more into the emotional aspect. But when it comes to fighting in court, when it comes to the lawyers doing their job, we don't necessarily, unless there's a jury. There's no jury. We can focus on the facts.
I didn't hear what his lawyer got to say. I had to say. I just heard.
We can go back if you want to and watch it. But I feel like this is easy. This is an easy win because all we got to do is go back to the beginning.
I just heard what the police chief had to say, and I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" Like, ain't no way. Because I know when these type of things happen that the police chief get the video. And then they go through the whole process of being like, we're going to release our video, whether, it's because of the public outcry saying that you guys should release the video, or whether, you feel like the video will help your officer. But what he said leading up to being like, we're going to release the video, I was like, ain't no way you talking like you have not seen this video, but talking like you have seen this video.
I believe that's what his lawyers saying. But no, can't be mad at the police chief. Because again, I would, as his lawyer, I would use what the police chief said. I would use several points. You can skip it. But no. I would use the facts, the video, the police chief's response.
Good morning, I'm Bethany Reese. William McNeil Jr. and his attorneys are now at a